In today's video, we're going to be diving on into the only official hit Netflix original Stranger Things Lego set, The Upside Down. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another review slash should you buy here on the channel. Today we're taking a look at honestly one of my favorite sets I think I've ever built. This is the Lego Stranger Things The Upside Down set number 75810. Comes with 2,287 pieces and a whole lineup of exclusive minifigures and overall just an amazing build. Now this set is currently available from Lego Shop at Home for $200. I did pay for this myself, so all these opinions are going to be entirely my own. So admittedly, I was a little bit late to the Stranger Things hype train. I have had friends who've loved and absolutely loved the show, and I kept trying to get into it, but this past month I was able to finally finish the entire series, and I gotta say, wow. If you guys are vaguely interested in the show, I definitely suggest watching it, but today we're talking about the Lego incarnation of the Upside Down. Now, for those of you unfamiliar with Stranger Things, this set will definitely look weird, but to sum it up, there are basically two dimensions, or two worlds. You have the normal, and then you have the Upside Down, which is basically a carbon copy of everything on top on the bottom. Now, of course, I won't be diving on into the plot or the show, so no spoilers, I guess, ahead of season 1 are going to be in this video, just because I will need to reference things to make sure that you guys know what fits in the set and why everything was included. First off, let's talk about the box really fast. Beautiful designed box, and you can actually flip this upside down as well, so it's kind of like two different things. You have the logo for Lego Stranger Things on the top and bottom, which I think is just a really cool little tidbit that Lego has included. Now, the Upside Down set itself is based off of the Buyer's Home from season 1. It is one of the most iconic places in Stranger Things, I would say. A lot of stuff goes down here. So first off, let's start talking about the minifigures. So the set does come with this really cool little display plaque. It does have a sticker on the 6x5 panel. It does say Stranger Things. Pretty cool. As long as you put it on correctly, it does look really, really nice. Now, going from left to right, you first have Mike. He is one of the 4 sort of main characters, the main child characters in season 1. He does have a flashlight and a walkie-talkie. One thing you'll see that's consistent, they all like to use the walkie-talkies for communication, so of course Lego has included that, which is really nice. As far as the printing on Mike's shirt goes, on the torso, it's just a sort of normal collared shirt, very accurate to what he has in the series, which is always nice. Up next, you have the Lucas minifigure, and what I absolutely love is that Lego has included this really cool slingshot mold, which does look really nice. The slingshot is one of his sort of iconic items or accessories that Lucas has in the TV show, which is nice. He of course has his camouflage bandana, which is its own piece, which does look really cool. And as far as the printing goes, he has like a red sort of fur coat, which does look nice and again is very screen accurate. Next, you have what is in my opinion the best iteration and most accurate representation of this character in Lego form. This is Dustin, and he's one of my favorite characters in the entire show. Likewise, he does have a walkie-talkie and a compass, which is interesting. What I absolutely love about this minifigure is the hat slash hair piece. It's one mold, which is really cool, and then of course you do have that like classic Dustin look on his face, which really does give a nice aesthetic. And the last minifigure is Will. He is pretty much the character that's terrorized 24/7 in the entire season, so of course he does have the scared look and then like the really 80s style haircut, which is cool. He does have the red jacket, which is again very screen accurate to season 1. Overall, I gotta say Lego did a great job representing all of the characters in Lego form, especially the 4 main child actors. Really good. As far as other minifigures go, here we have Chief Jim Hopper. He is my favorite character without a doubt in Stranger Things. He is the sheriff of the town, which is cool. Now the minifigure itself does have the sort of cool tan sheriff hat. His torso is tan. Of course, you have the belt buckle and like the sort of iconic 80s look for a sheriff. He does of course have a badge and stuff like that. He does have a baton as well and a coffee mug, because that's just sort of his thing. And then his pants are going to be dark tan as well. The only other adult minifigure you get in this set is Mrs. Byers. She is of course Will's mother, and she is a very phenomenal character. You also get the 11 minifigure, which is really nice. She does of course have that blonde wig on with the pink dress. Very accurate. I'm actually really crossing my fingers that we get a newer version of a Stranger Things set with an updated 11 minifigure. That'd be really cool. And the last minifigure, the awesome exclusive Demogorgon. This is the monster that terrorizes all of the characters and minifigures that you guys just watched here on screen. What I love most about the Demogorgon are two things. Number one, the legs are very different. They look very much like an animal, or very much like a hunter or a predator, which is of course the mantra of the Demogorgon. And then the version that you see right now is when the Demogorgon has its sort of mouths, I guess plural, open when it's about to strike, which is nice. It's one solid piece that sort of slides onto the head of the minifigure itself, which is beautiful. Overall, in terms of just the minifigures in general, you're getting a lot of awesome, exclusive, well-made minifigures, so that has a 10 out of 10 already with the set. And now the last thing before we go ahead and get on into the actual Stranger Things house itself, you do get Chief Jim Hopper's police car. This is actually a really accurate, like scary accurate representation of it in Lego form. It's just a normal police car. There's nothing too crazy to say about it. You do have the red and blue lights on the very top. Now what's really cool is in the back you can see a pumpkin, which is actually a little bit of an Easter egg to season 2. I'm not going to spoil anything, but that's also something really cool as well. And then of course on the side of the car you do have the Hawkins Police Department. That is a sticker. Unfortunately it's not printed, but there's nothing too crazy. Now let's go ahead and dive on into the actual Stranger Things Upside Down house itself. I'm going to take you off the tripod, give you guys a little bit of a closer look into the actual design of this build. So let's get started and talk about this beautiful build. This is sort of revolutionary. I've never seen Lego make a set quite like this, where it sort of functions as like a dual set. You can flip it upside down and really display it from anywhere. So automatically, I mean, the innovation in this Lego set is absolutely fantastic. But first off, let me just briefly run you guys down through the concept. Essentially, you have two different alternate realities, I guess, if you will, or they're in the same world. They're just two different worlds in the same, I don't know. Basically, you have like the real world. This is where everyone is. And essentially, there are gates that you can go into from this area and go into sort of the alternate reality area, I guess. I don't know how you would exactly describe it, but then you have Will and the Demogorgon on the very bottom. Of course, Will in episode 1 is taken. No one knows where he is, hence why all the characters are on the top frantically looking and searching for him. You got Jim Hopper, you got his mother, Mrs. Byers, and of course all of his friends, and 11. So that's sort of like the rough concept behind the set overall. It's a really unique, interesting concept. Essentially, the way that the set holds itself up is by the trees on either side. The trees in itself, in terms of at least the exterior, look fantastic, I think, for a Lego set. But what's most interesting is that there's actually a pretty strong Technic structure that runs on the sides, which is of course that supplies that sort of sturdy foundation that will let the actual set itself stand up, which is nice. So of course you can see here on the bottom, the only thing holding up this entire house are the two sides and the trees on either side and the leaves and whatnot. So that's really already like a pretty cool thing that Lego did. And I'm actually going to take all the minifigures off for now because I want to give you guys a better look at the house itself, which I believe is actually a very amazingly designed house. Now, first things first, before we do that, I do want to mention how this car can actually stand up. So obviously you could flip the house itself upside down, but you don't want the car to fall off. Basically, you just put the car on that little 2x2 modified like Technic pin plate, I guess, and you just basically loop it through one of these holes here and it stands up like that. Let's take a seat and dive a little bit on in here to the house. So first things first, you have a really nice shackled roof. There's actually a combination of a couple of different pieces. You have some of the 4x6 modified plates from Lego, which does offer more tile surface texture rather than the studs, so immediately there are going to be less studs for you to actually look at. As you go towards the bottom here, the front of the house is held up by these pillars. You got some really cool stickers on them, which is nice. It does have a really nice 80s aesthetic. In terms of the house itself and how it's created, essentially there are a whole bunch of snot bricks, or bricks with a stud on the side, and then you connect all the tiles and whatnot. So it really provides a rugged, older look for the house, which does look really nice. As far as outside the house, you do have a chair and a table right there. You also have the bike, that is Will's bike, and then you also do have a nice little swing set right there that connects to the house as well, and then the front door with some really cool glass panes in the front and sides of the house as well. As far as the outside and the nature goes, it's basically just wedge plates. On the top you have a whole bunch of olive green and some dark tan to provide a really nice landscape on the front, and of course that landscape is flipped when we will get into the upside down portion of the set. Like I said, the trees are what holds this entire thing up. They are essentially normal trees. You have some brown, some hints of nougat, maybe some dark orange and dark brown, but overall a pretty normal looking tree, I guess you could say. One thing you guys should notice are these little ball joints. These are what actually firmly connects both 1 and 2 together. So essentially, when you build it through the instructions, the top house and the bottom house are two entirely different builds. So then you basically use these ball joints and you connect them, which makes it really sturdy so they don't fall apart. But let's go ahead and take a little bit of a turn and show you guys the immense detail that is on the back side of these guys right here. So as you turn it around, like I said, if you know the show, you'll definitely recognize a lot of these little cool Easter eggs. So first off, in the front door, you have a really cool sticker that has all of the letters on the wall. Up on the top here, you do have a light source, which if you press, you can actually illuminate all the letters, which is nice. Of course, if you guys have seen the show, you'll know exactly what that means, but that's really cool. Other than that, you do have a nice little couch, nice little phone, which is also another callback to fans of the show, and then a table right there with a newspaper, and of course a sort of Will Byers missing pamphlet right there. Also, one thing that I almost forgot to mention is the little bear trap right here, which is used at the end of season 1, which is really, really nice. And then of course towards the right you do have a couch with some nice plants, and on the left side you have Will's room. Of course, you have all of the sort of normal details that you'd expect in the room. You do have a little bit of a nightlight, you have a desk with a stereo, a lamp light, and of course the bed, other really cool stuff. As you go towards the attic, you do have a TV movie camera recorder, which does look kind of cool. Like I said before, you do have that light source for the little cool Easter egg down there. Will, his character at least, is a huge fan of Dungeons and Dragons, so that'll be a really cool thing to see if you're a fan of the show. And that's pretty much it for the normal spot, so let's go ahead and just move it. I'm going to see if I could do this with one hand. So essentially, in theory, you should be able to just turn it like this. And something just fell off. I think it was the bike. That's my fault for not securing that. But then here you have the upside down. I'm going to bump up the ISO on the camera, so hopefully you guys can see a little more. I apologize if the whites are really blinding, but you need it because the colors in the upside down are all dark. They're dark blue. You have some sand blue, overall very dark colors. So it's exactly the same thing. You do have that wall of the letters, which is, again, synonymous with the bottom side right there. You do have the same exact room, same exact accessories, just different colors. And then as you go towards the left side of the house, again, you can see the dead plant and the plant right there, and the chair over there. So it's really cool to see like the same things on the upside down, just sort of in a different condition, I guess if you could say. So that's a really cool technique. And also one thing, again, you'll notice that there are these ball joints right here. These are what connects the entire thing. That's what allows me to turn it like you guys just saw. Now, what I absolutely love about this set, probably my favorite part about it as a whole, is the front of the upside down. It really looks run down. It really looks worn, which is something I really admire. So like I said, the trees on the upside down are far different from the ones you'll see in the normal version. So of course the trees here are black, dark brown, blue leaves, very, very old, rugged, run down, very spooky, very dirty, of course, compared to the normal trees that you guys saw before. And then of course you take a look at the house and it's the exact same thing. But of course you'll notice that there are a lot of differences. You do have still, again, those front sort of sections holding up the awnings. You do have that sort of shackled roof, but it's a different color this time. You got normal blue, which gives it that really nice difference in color, which I find really, really nice. And then you still have all the other details. You still have the couch. You still have the swing set, again, synonymous with the other side and the swing set. So it's just kind of cool to see this. Now, I guess the accurate scene you could recreate, of course, you'd have the Demogorgon, I guess, chasing Will around in the upside down if you wanted to be really accurate to what happens in the actual show. But of course we do know about Castle Byers and all that kind of stuff. Now unfortunately there is no Castle Byers set up in this set, which is a little bit disappointing. I would have loved to get like a little sort of I guess vignette of Castle Byers for those of you who do know the show. But other than that, this is a fantastic set. You can see the house has used the same exact details. It's basically the same thing, copy and pasted, but if you change the color tones, added some more like really just dirty vegetation, and the set itself is fantastic. I'll bump back the ISO. Hopefully it's not as blinding as before, but you can see here, look at how dark the colors are when I don't do that. Of course, you need this to see, but when I drop it back down to normal, you can barely see it. So guys, that wraps up my review of the LEGO Stranger Things. Like I said, this is the only set that LEGO has made for the hit Netflix original TV show. I am banking on them making more. I think it's only a matter of time. In fact, if you've seen season 3 or maybe even season 2, there are a lot of really good ideas that I think that they could do for sets. But I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Thank you guys for watching. I will see you later. Take it easy. Peace.